Well, hello everybody. I come to you guys from inside the European Union. I'm currently in Croatia. We have a piece of story, news that's kind of been frustrating, at least for the past 24 hours. You know that we voted to leave the European Union. We went through this battle. We eventually implemented Brexit. Even when the EU came and said we have our new jab scheme, the UK should join us. Well, the UK said, no, we voted to become an independent country. So we're going to have our own jabs and we're going to do our own stuff. Yet, having said that, one of the most idiotic policies that, in the name of public health and safety, has come out is this idea of immunity or health passports, or now they call it the digital certificate, as if that helps. The European Union are doing this centralized system. The UK have agreed to potentially join this centralized bureaucratic system, even though they say that we're not going to actually centralize it, but it's implemented by the European Union. The whole idea, they used the implementation document that was produced by the World Health Organization. They're giving it to all the member states, more than 40 countries actually. Some of them are not even inside the European Union. So they said, UK, join us. If you want us to make travel for your citizens easier, then you have to join our European Union digital certificate scheme, whatever it is. Now, as I said, I'm currently in Croatia. We had to go through this paperwork and all the usual stuff, filling out forms. It wasn't really that hard, probably like in about 10 minutes. They are trying to use us, ordinary people, as their pawns to then get governments to join their schemes to make everything centralized. The idea, initially, is to use it for international travel. They say, Boris, we will make international travel easier for your people. But on the other hand, there is a dark side to this story, because if we do join this idiotic scheme, they have said that the EU DCC program that they have is going to make traveling inside the European Union or across Europe easier, because some of the members who've joined this new centralized bureaucratic system, they're not even inside the European Union. So that's how they're trying to use the UK to be forced to do it. Now, they say that this was initially for travel, but this will enable governments to use this and people's personal data for domestic passports, for bars, restaurants, pubs, and everything else. They say that more controversially, joining the EU system would quickly enable governments to launch a domestic vaccine passport system in Britain, should it be needed to help the spread of the virus this winter. Really? Are you kidding me? I mean, we've already gone through this whole debate with Sajid Javid, with Matt Hancock, with everybody else. Scientists say this is just counterproductive, doesn't help anybody. Everybody else knows it's just going to hurt the whole scheme of public health and businesses and everything around it. They don't really understand the logic around why we oppose it. Now, they say that this whole thing, the idea, that World Health Organization coming up with an implementation document, giving it to all the governments, and they say, well, technically it's up to you guys. Some of you can use it, some of you could just ignore it, but of course, when you give it to Brussels, they're going to be like, ooh, we do like bureaucracy, we do like control, and this would be a good way to get some non-EU countries to join a scheme that's been run by Brussels. Now, more than 40 countries so far have joined. The European Union only have 27 members. Now, they say that the system is effectively a giant digital platform or gateway through which different countries, the vaccine certificates and test results can be scanned and verified as legitimate by others quickly and easily. So they say that, for example, Croatia, the government here, right now, would not really see the UK's paperwork as legitimate. We are the UK, you know that, right? We're not some sort of third world country. Considering we actually led the movement for jabs. Somehow they say, we don't really trust the jabs from the UK. Unless you sign up to the EU scheme, then we actually agree that your document is now legitimate. It's messed up. The whole thing is messed up. They say the system is used on all external EU borders and also for domestic passport scheme, operating in countries including France, Holland, and Portugal. This is for restaurants, pubs, and everything else. This will actually make it a lot easier for ministers and for bureaucrats in Whitehall to justify the idea of a domestic passport, which, we keep trying to stop it. Even Sajid Javid has recently said, I hear your voice, we're probably not going to do it, and say, well, we might do it. Well, if this happens, then it's definitely going to happen. We know that this guy, Matt Hancock, who's been one of the worst health secretaries we had in a long time because he just didn't really get anything done. He took credit for all the stuff that was being done by his colleagues, whether it was the actual NHS workers or whether it was the Department of Health workers who did all this stuff. And he said, for example, with the jabs, companies did it and the system did it and said, well, I was Matt Hancock. I did the jabs. No, stop it. It wasn't you. This guy is now going through his own investigation. His WhatsApp messages and emails are going to be investigated because of all the dodgy contracts, because of certain decisions that was made by him and his government, well, the government he was part of, that was not really scrutinized by anybody, media, press, or ordinary people, ordinary voters. This thing has to stop now because the more you continue becoming more authoritarian, the harder it will be to repeal these measures. The harder it will be for us ordinary people to go back to normal life. And there's a reason. A lot of people have been asking me, why do I even bother going on holiday? Like, I'm coming on Croatia. Of course, this is partly holiday, partly also business, doing some stuff here, which I'll keep you guys posted at some point. But you have to fight back. You can't just withdraw. You can't just retreat and say, well, you made things difficult in my life, so I'm just going to obey and surrender and say, okay, you're going to make it difficult to go on holiday? We won't go on holiday. No, do not surrender, because that's exactly what they want. What they want is for you to be frustrated and then eventually lose the will to live and then just going to say yes to any authoritarian measure. This thing has to stop now. It has to stop before we turn into another Australia. Now, if you're not a full member or standard member of the main channel, the main website, mytc.co.uk, then definitely join. We have a lot of big stories coming up tomorrow. Over the next couple of days, we've got a couple of very, very big stories that will be revealed. Unfortunately, we can't really post it on YouTube or Twitter or any other platform because they usually just remove it. So make sure to join and check out the Daily Shows section for that video.